Hey peeps, it's Mrs. Gore here with an example of how to write the slope-intercept equation through a given point with a given slope. Um, so when you look at the information that we have, they told us a specific point that it needed to go through, and they told us the slope. So the entry to this problem is to use the point slope equation, and then we'll modify that to look like slope-intercept. So the point slope equation that we're using in our class is this one. Please note, it is not the only version of point slope equation. Sometimes if you get on a website like Khan Academy or Patrick JMT, any of those big math help websites, this piece will not be on the right-hand side. They would subtract y1 from the right side, and if they do it from the right side, they have to do it from the left side. So they will write it as y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So this is also valid. Feel free to use it if you would like. However, this one in black tends to lend itself to things that you're going to do later in Math 2. So whichever one you want to use is okay with me. Just make sure that whatever strategy you pick, you have a method for figuring out the negative signs. So if you remember what we discussed in class, you have to know a point that this thing goes through, and the coordinates of that point are x1, y1, which in this case is 2, comma, -3. So the x coordinate is 2, and the y coordinate is -3. And you have to know the slope, which in this case is -1/2, and that would go right there. So we just have to plop in the things that we know. So we just have to plop in the things that we know. So y is going to stay a variable. M we're going to replace with -1/2. X is going to remain a variable. The minus sign is going to get carried along. The x coordinate is 2, and the y coordinate is -3. So I'm going to write that as -3 because adding -3 is the same as subtracting 3. So this is the point slope equation of this line. But the question specifically asked to find the slope intercept equation of the line. So I have to do a little bit of work to make this look like slope intercept, which is y equals mx plus b. So to do that, I have to distribute my -1/2 to both of these terms. So that's going to be y equals -1/2 x, because -1/2 times -1/2 times x is -1/2 x. And then it's going to be plus 1, because -1/2 times -2 is positive 1. A negative times a negative is a positive, and half of 2 equals 1. And then I'll carry my -3 down. And I am almost done. All I have to do is put like terms together. So it's going to be -1/2 x minus 2. Positive 1 plus -3 is -2. And there I am, done.